Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. The 95th Annual Academy Awards are Sunday night, so we're celebrating with flashbacks to past Oscar winners. I spoke to Alicia Vikander in January of 2016 after her double Golden Globe nominations for Ex Machina and The Danish Girl, the latter of which won her the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress.
Thanks so much for taking the time to join us.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Now, I know the awards were announced. It's still pretty fresh. I personally, having seen your movies, wasn't surprised at all. You totally deserve it, and I think we should get some Oscar buzz going too. But were you surprised to hear your name called?
I was very surprised. I don't think I ever could have even associated my name with these kind of awards or the people that I was nominated next to. I was in Berlin, I did press for Danish Girl when I found out. It came out from a big kind of, like a round table with journalists, and I came out and my publicist told me the news, and I guess I couldn't, we were just then heading off to the airport, so I was jumping in my seat in the car.
It's got to be pretty rare to be nominated for two different movies, though, at the same year.
She told me one at first, and I had this crazy reaction, and then she told me that it was the second one, and then I just stopped and couldn't really, I was like, what? Couldn't really get my head around that. No, it's been two films that I've been so happy to be involved with, two very different films with two very extraordinary different parts. So I'm just extremely fortunate to have been invited to be in these kind of on the journeys of making these stories, really. Yeah,
for sure. And I know that you said they're different. Two very different stories, which they are, in two very different genres. But I guess if we wanted to try to find a little through line, there's sort of they both deal in different ways with themes of identity. They mentioned the Turing test in Ex Machina, I believe. But yeah. So were you able to did you notice sort of those themes running through in both of them, or did you approach them very differently?
Yes. In Danish Girl, it's about gender confirmation. To define your whatever you consider being your true gender, and it was interesting. I think I approached the films very differently. I did Ex Machina 2.5 years ago. Mm-hmm. So that's and Danish Girl we actually finished in April this year. So it was quite a bit in between. But it was interesting when I met some trans women just 2-3 weeks ago who had seen Ex Machina and kind of wanted to point out and tell me that they had found such connection in how the Ava character in one way also tries to define or come to the truth of really wanting to embody the person that she believes she is.
Right.
So that was interesting to hear that approach now after I'd met them and made the films, because I don't think your question is I approached them probably very different.
Yeah, well, especially with that much time in between, I'm sure there was a different approach. Talk about working with Eddie Redmayne on this movie. You got to play. We saw something semi-similar, I guess, last year in Imitation Game with Benedict Cumberbatch and Keira Knightley. She decides to stay married with him in that movie. But talk about sort of like what your character's sort of going through as, because it begins sort of fun and games. He's dressing up to stand in for a painting, and then all of a sudden, he discovers something about his own gender identity. But, what was it like working with Eddie Redmayne? He's the reigning Oscar champ right now, and here you are going toe-to-toe with him.
Well, I thought it was interesting how in the script it's kind of it's that scene when of course Lily Azina in the beginning tries on to do kind of the first time in that painting room, feels a connection with her true self in a way, but it's also the thing of a partner who, this was a time where there was no reference of this or even vocabulary to express what Lily goes through. It's that thing of knowing somebody so pure, so fully, someone that you love that much. And even in her art, and I think normally as an artist, very often your subconscious comes through in your work.
Right.
And that's also how kind of Lily and her muse kind of appears, and that it actually comes from the person who supports and who sees her, who actually sees who Lily really is. And then, of course, it's a big transition that they both on, trying to fully dare to go on the journey for Lily to truly become herself. And what I thought was remarkable with this story was, of course, that they were such pioneers going through what they did in a time when there was no reference 100 years back, but also to see a marriage and a love relationship when it's all about, if you actually are truly seen, if you actually are truly loved by somebody unconditionally, then maybe you can dare to become yourself, be yourself.
Right. It's sort of the ultimate test of unconditional right there.
Yeah.
What I thought, I was admiring how the director Tom Hooper was sort of expressing what you guys were going through in visual ways. There's those shots where Eddie's looking through, there's like dresses populating the foreground early on, like foreshadowing, or a lot of times he's looking at you two through windows, or he has you sort of framed by door frames and walls to kind of show the separation between you guys as you're going through a rough patch. Are you aware of these sort of, symbolic directorial techniques that Hooper's doing, while you're on set, or are you guys sort of just acting in the scene and then you see it on screen and say, oh, wow?
I think some of it was even in the script. But yes, well, we had a lot of, like, 2, 3. When you actually have a take, you kind of, all the preparation work, which I think we all really care for and think needs to be done, is kind of hopefully, like, grounded in you. And then you're able to just let go. You can't think about those things when you're actually on a take.
Sure.
But when you are in between, it's interesting how of course, when we did rehearsals and we had set up those spaces, the kind of the apartments where they live, so we could play with space.
Mm-hmm.
And then to do that, it changes things. If you're in different rooms, it's like experimenting, trying how it is to sit close to each other, saying something, or have an enormous distance. That immediately, turn a scene on its head in a way.
Sure. You mentioned that some of it was written into the script. What do you, as an actress, I got to say, award-nominated actress now, but what do you, as you're reading through the script, what is sort of the one thing that you're looking forward to? Because I'm sure you read a bunch of them, but what usually jumps off the page at you and says, I want to do this movie?
It's when I don't think about reading a script. It's very rare.
Right.
That thing of, it's difficult to write a script which takes you on a similar journey of feeling like you're reading a book or watching a film. I did 2 films, both Ex Machina and Danish Girl was 2 of those scripts when suddenly I was on the last page.
You're just
I was like,
sucked in.
Wow. Yeah. And then it's good.
Exactly. And then, beyond the script, once you're actually, getting ready to make it, we actually had Alex Garland. He came in studio back when Ex Machina came out. And then I'm sure similarly with Tom Hooper, also another talented filmmaker. What is each of their strengths, and what do you enjoy the most as an actress on set? Like, what makes a good filmmaker to you, and how they deal with the actors?
Both Alex and Tom, and I've been privileged quite a few times of having directors so generous with time and dedication, and all about wanting their actors to feel safe, in the sense that it's so open for testing things, to collaborate, to come with ideas, of almost directors who kind of are always, who are willing to be there in the preparation, and who knows that. He kind of tells you, so you fully know that they're always there as a safety net when you need help, and also push you, which is scary. But both those directors always kind of pushed me to just try it myself first. You always have questions, and you always want to know, and you want to hear a director's vision. But it's pretty empowering when they actually tell you. Remember Eddie and I, when Tom just said, well, try it out first. Go with your instincts, and then we can work from that and discover new things.
Awesome. That's awesome. Well, I know we're up against a time constraint here, so we appreciate you coming on, and congrats again on the Golden Globe nods, both of them, and hopefully next time we hear from you, you'll have an Oscar in your pocket too. That's what I hope.
Thank you so much for talking to me. It was really a pleasure. Thank you.
Awesome. Everybody, Alicia Vikander on WTOP.
Thank you. Bye.
I happened to be covering the Oscars backstage that year, and here's what Vikander had to say after her big win.
I came on this film only 2 years ago, and I know that this was not an easy film to get made, and it's been almost 15 years that one of our producers, Gail, have worked on it, and to see kind of the cultural change with just me over the years since I actually finished the film, with Caitlyn Jenner coming out and with Transparent and Tangerine. It's like a social a change, and I just wish that if, in the same way that this film has been so educational for me and with so many people that I've got to meet in preparation for it, I hope that it can open up an even wider conversation with if our film can be part of that discussion. I'm trying to remember anything that just happened in the last 5 minutes. I had my mom next to me, which was just, I used to every night, this night every year, I woke up, I set the alarm clock at 2 a.m. to watch this, to celebrate on a distance film and people behind film. So to have my mom's hand and to experience being just here in this room has been pretty cool. Personally, like I said, I've just looked up to, this is a celebration of film and the people behind it. So I'm just really honored that I was invited to be part of this thing tonight, and to get this is just, beyond anything I would ever imagine. I never thought from back home that I would do films in English. I didn't know that you could as a foreign actress, really. I don't know, I think if I can continue to work, that would be great. I hope I'm going to get the chance to go outside and have a glass of wine and meet up with my family and my entire crew that is here, and my friends. So I even have a short dress in front so I can bounce and dance in it. So that's what I'm going to do. I think it's most of all it's supposed to be fun. I'm very much, I wear my jeans and I don't know, like a black Scandi chick normally. So I had been to 2 weddings in my life where I wore one of those red carpets. That was the only time where you got the chance to wear dresses like this, and it's just incredible to wear something that is like a piece of art. I don't know how many hours it took to make this dress. So it's fun. I like to. It's almost like you get to get the chance to act your different sides of your personality and bring that out in your clothes, which is fun. I actually on stage said to my parents who were there and who has always told me, like, you can actually do it. And it's been so many doubts, and they're still there. And a lot of things can be possible, things that I would never, ever, ever have believed in. And that's only because I've had some incredible women supporting me. So that's probably what I wanted to say to some young girls. Just keep on doing it, I guess. Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Our theme music is Scott Buckley's Clarion. Remember to give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time. I wanted to take a second to tell you about an app I really enjoy. Living in the DC area is great, and Podcast DC gathers all of the local shows that I like all in one local app. Health, sports, local news, politics, and so much more. Podcast DC is the new local app with hundreds of DC area podcasts to choose from. I can earn exciting rewards just for listening and share the podcasts I love instantly. Available in the App Store or in Google Play, listen local with Podcast DC.